Well, he's a legend when it comes to racing sprint cars at Grays Harbor Raceway. He's coming off his 12th career championship. No, I didn't say that incorrectly. He has 12 championships, including the last 4 seasons. The 360s have inhabited the house that Fred Brownfield built. It's Jay Cole out of Shelton, Washington, and he's our next guest here on Getting Up to Speed. Hello, I'm Ben Dethridge, and I'm the host of Getting Up to Speed. We talk to sprint car drivers from the Pacific Coast, whether they race in Oregon, Washington, California. If they run it, we're going to talk about it. Also branch out a little bit, as well as drivers that perhaps are from here that race elsewhere, or some drivers that come in and try and take some money from the West Coast. In these episodes, we talk about past experience, past seasons, as well as upcoming races, as well as how's the season going. We hope you enjoy these episodes. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. It really helps us out. And stay tuned for more and more content. Now let's get into the interview. Well, joining me now, he hails out of Shelton, Washington. It's the driver of the OJ 360 sprint car, Jay Cole, now a 12-time sprint car champion at Grays Harbor Raceway in Elma, Washington. Jay, such a lovely time always when we catch up. It's been a couple years, but I'm really looking forward to talking to you about some racing.
Yep, I'm looking forward to talking to you.
Well, we'll just get into it. 12-time champion, and you've won the last 4 straight titles. Just an incredible amount of success at the house that Fred Brownfield built. Looking at the years, 1996, 97, 98, a three-peat, 02, 04, 06, 08. That was like a San Francisco Giants kind of World Series championship rhythm going there. 2013, and then 2018, 2019, no 360s in 2020, but 21 and 22, the champion there. My gosh, that is legendary accomplishment for sure.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I've had a lot of great support, great crew, and a lot of good friends that helped me accomplish all that.
And, to win it 4 straight times, I know it's not easy. It takes a lot of work and a lot of effort, but it's just got to feel like, a major, I'm just repeating myself, a major accomplishment just to do it over and over and over again. Just the stars are aligning for your race team.
Yeah, I have a great sponsor in Bulldog Trailers, and Trev likes to have stuff that's newer than older, and a lot of times when I say, hey, I got some stuff here that will work, he says, no, that we're going to get it new, and it'll show up in the mail, and a lot of that helps me with breakdowns and parts failures because he wants it to be as good as it can be.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt, a professional approach towards it. Last year, your numbers, 9 feature starts, 7 top 10s, 6 top 5s, 4 podiums, and 3 main event wins. So a really good win percentage for you, despite an extremely wet spring at Grays Harbor that got things kind of started late. But your take on how 2022 went, obviously getting the championship, but did you feel like there was any point in time where you guys had a bad patch?
There was a couple tracks that I kind of missed it and struggled to get some forward bite and basically fumbled around for 25 laps just burning up some tires and wishing I could pass some cars. But there was a couple of those. And
then it just, once you got kind of the bad stretch out of the way, everything just connect?
Some of the tracks kind of came to work better for me, and then maybe I was getting some better starting spots. That also helped, and I think maybe a couple races attrition probably helped me successful.
Yeah, no doubt. And if I remember right, the first race of the year was kind of one of those war of attritions. It was, nothing you can do about it with the weather, and the track was a little on the heavy side and fast, but it was one of those hammer down and get the elbows up kind of deals.
Yeah, and sometimes those tracks maybe fit me at times, and sometimes when I get it right, the slower tracks with a little bit more finesse and traction. Also, it's just when it's right, it's right. When it's wrong, it's wrong, I guess.
Sure, no doubt. But 33% on the win, the winning percentage, and Did you feel like you guys closed the year out in strong form? When obviously the night before the Outlaws, that's a big race. Outlaws coming to town, that's a big night. You feel like you guys were in top shape?
I think, if I remember right, I might have crashed the night before the Outlaws, if I remember. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I think maybe that was maybe one of those nights. I think I got collected in somebody had some bad steering, and I think I crashed down the front straightaway on that night. So I think I didn't qualify very well. I was back there quite a bit, and so maybe that night I wasn't moving forward like I should be, if that's the race I'm thinking of.
Yeah. And then as far as 2023, what is that looking like for the J. Cole race team?
Well, with Grace Harbor having a fair amount of more 360 racing, and I hear a lot of chatter here and there that a lot of people want to come down and race a little bit more at Elma, maybe bigger car counts, and probably a lot better shows to watch and more fun to race with more people. I think that's the plan. Maybe hit a couple of races here or there along the way. Don't got anything really penciled out. Whatever everybody wants to do, we'll just figure it out.
Nice. And are you going to be there for any of the 410 shows? Going to try and do that?
Nope. I might come and watch, but I think those guys get around there fast and furious, and we kind of a 360 team, and we're gonna kind of stay that way, I think.
Yeah, no doubt, and it's cool to see Speed Week Northwest go back to Grays Harbor. Their the northern version of that, anyways. Starting off in late July, and Grays Harbor has a couple of good 2-day shows, featuring some sprint cars, Wing 360s, and it's great to see that. I think honestly the easy thing to do sometimes when the field gets a little thin would just to put it on the block, but it looks like Bert's trying to make things happen, and I think that we'll grow the car count.
Yep, that's kind of my opinion also, and I mean, I talked to a few people here and there, and it seems like they might be excited to come to Elma and do some more racing and be back at it again.
Yeah, most definitely, and hopefully, you would hope the result would be, get some teams and cars, re-entered or start from scratch from the Elma, Aberdeen, and Olympia area.
Yeah, and that's that'd be great. I don't think I've heard much of that. I think we'll gather cars from surrounding areas further away maybe, but that would be great. See some sportsman sprints move up. That'd be great. There's good drivers there, so that'd be a bonus.
Yeah, because I know for a while that there's a lot of guys coming from Snohomish or, as you said, other places, which is on the north side of Seattle, and got to go through Seattle, Tacoma, Olympia, and it's a ways to go, and you're not factoring in traffic, so that'll be good. Get some local support, some local cars going.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty excited to see how when we get going here, what we got for cars and how many people want to keep coming back to have some fun at Elma. Yeah,
no doubt. And it's such a special place, not just for you guys, but for so many people, so many good memories, Northern Sprint Tour, NSCS, ASCS Northwest, having so many memorable shows there. As I said, it's the house that Fred Brownfield built, and you saw the pre-Fred Elma and won a bunch of championships, and also when Fred took it over.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it all, to be honest.
Yeah, and for folks that maybe never saw the old Grays Harbor Raceway prior to the current configuration, it's night and day difference, correct?
Absolutely, it was more of I would say like a paperclip. Slow down, and the corners were really tight and not really able to run them wide open like you can sometimes now. So it was maybe a little more technical at times and had probably less banking. It was it put on races that were good and bad, I would say, but it definitely wasn't as fast as it is now. But
Mm-hmm.
to now they know the track when it's right. It's one of the funnest places I ever raced.
Oh yeah, like when Elma's on, and it can be a lot of the times, like when it's up against the fence and right on the, up top and on the berm on the bottom, like holy Toledo, like it's sensational.
Absolutely.
And I think I saw that for the night before the Outlaw race. They got a good car count, and it was able to move the track, widen it out, and it was slick in the middle, but it was good up top, good on the bottom. And, it just produced some great racing. It brought lap traffic into the mix, and, just, man, so many memories of seeing good races at Elma just were, reappearing before my eyes.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm a racer, but I'm also a race fan. So I'll get up there and watch the modifieds or the limited sprints. That it's fun for me. And I get a good, I mean, I feel get in the pits to go racing, but I also like to watch them.
Oh yeah, yeah. Modified Speed Week the last couple years ended there, and that was just some great racing action too. And Grays Harbor Raceway not just has a great contingent of 360 sprint car drivers, but IMC modified races as well, and they're tough to beat.
Yeah, and as the last 5-10 years, that there's some guys there that can contend anywhere.
Sure.
I mean, got their cars right, they're ready to go, and they're getting her done.
Yeah, I mean, it's no irony that Tyson Blood has been the state champion the last couple years, and has went on to do some pretty good things wherever he goes, whether it's California, Oregon, or even Arizona. And his primary part of the world in which he marks his territory is Grays Harbor.
Yep, absolutely. He's had his stuff on fire and looking great, and it's been fun to follow him and see how he's doing also.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's been fun watching you through the years. You ran Northern Sprint Tour, and we'd see you with ASCS, and came down to Cottage Grove a couple of times for Marvin Smith Memorial Grove Classic, and it's just, I know we don't get to see you too often outside of Grays Harbor, but when I get to see you, it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, those are some pretty fun times traveling and racing here and there and everywhere, and it's pretty easy to drive 30 minutes from my house now and go racing and be home in 45 and sleeping before midnight. So
yeah.
Sort of changed with traveling, but we haven't ruled out doing a couple different races this summer.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, hopefully I'll be there when you're on the road again, because it's always like I said, it's always just a pleasure to see you, your lovely wife Cindy, and everything, and catching up and seeing it at some different places.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
And I've always wondered about this. I don't think I've ever asked you the story of your number, OJ. Like, obviously the J, that's self-explanatory, but what was the story behind that whole business?
Well, the truth be told, I really wasn't too good at the sprint car thing in the beginning, and it was maybe like, OJ, what are you gonna do next, or what? And it kind of stuck. I had a stock car once, and I had a simple number of 84, but we didn't take that over there. We went with just something fun that people would kind of maybe
sure
made fun of or something. So we just put it on there.
Well, at least it wasn't an association with O.J. Simpson or anything to that nature. So,
but it was probably within a year, 2 years. I mean, after I had the number, that all went down.
Okay.
So it had some association at times with people thinking that, but that's it. Yeah.
Well, I know that you've for a lot of years you went with like the white with the black numbers, or I think the black with the white numbers, but there was a time there was black with the orange, and I always thought, oh, maybe it was orange juice too.
Right. No, and the orange was there for a few years, and I don't know if it just somebody got tired of it, and we just decided to maybe go back to simpler colors and less paint. It's gel coat on these cars now. It's pretty perfect. You can just let her over a fiberglass hood and be ready to go.
Yeah, no doubt. I'd love to, I'm not pressuring you or anything, but I'd love to see a throwback paint scheme from the old NST days in the late 90s.
Right. There's some of those. I mean, there's some pictures of those cars, and we could. It looks nice. I mean, we kind of went back with the black this year and try to make it look a little bit more modern, and I think it stands out a lot better than maybe the white at night sometimes.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And I know that what's really cool about you too is you've got a huge core of sponsors that have helped you and that have, have make you have the ability to make every race at Grays Harbor or wherever when you guys do decide to travel to go to other places, and and they've been with you for a really long time too.
Yeah, I've been really fortunate to have the sponsors I have. I'm thankful, and I would say they're sponsors, but they're all friends. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
I mean, I got the bank has been around for a long time, and they're good. They're friends. I mean, they're people I talk to often, and with Bob's Tavern, that's been great. And Trev at Bulldog has just kind of probably kept me racing, to be honest with you, because
Sure.
he's been very nice and kept this thing rolling, and he likes things probably nicer than I do by far, and that's what adds to my success a lot.
Yeah. And you mentioned the bank. That's still our community credit union, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Long time. And those guys support the racetrack, historically as well too, which is cool.
Yeah. And that's, there's been some, I don't know, go both ways kind of things just with banks. And I think Trev sponsored the racetrack before with Bulldogs, and some of those things have just worked for everyone.
Yeah. Well, I can hear the excitement in your voice about 2023. So, and I'm not a betting man, but I would assume you're not ready to hang it up yet. Like, as long as you're having fun, as long as, your friends, your marketing partners, and your sponsors are still enjoying it, you sound like you're going to do it until somebody tells you can't, or you don't feel like it anymore.
Yeah. I kind of think that's, it's pretty exciting still. My wife's probably my biggest sponsor because she, enjoys racing as much as I do.
Sure.
And, I mean, it's pretty happy around here at race time. I mean, we know what we're doing. We got a start and a finish to our Saturdays, and sometimes they're perfect and sometimes they're not, but it's something that we kind of do, and we know what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, and the dawn of potentially a 13th championship is about on us all. Well, for you, here in a couple months. Hopefully it's not going to be as wet this spring as it was last spring, because it seemed like forever that anybody was going to get any racing in.
Yeah, it was, I don't know if it was 3 rainouts or maybe there was 2, but maybe there's a week. I mean, it seemed like we were 4 weeks of doing nothing when we were ready to go, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. And then there were some that were touch and go. I remember going up to the NARC race, and that was, they rained out Saturday, and then Sunday, there were some spots where it was raining, and it's like, oh gosh, do we turn around? Do we keep going? But, ended up being an all right race. And, it's just kind of a weird area where, and for folks that have never been to Grays Harbor Raceway, and Jay can attest to this, there's these 2 nuclear towers towards that's the west, towards the ocean, and if you can't see them, it means you only got a limited amount of time before the rain's coming.
Yep, that's 100% correct, and they might be more accurate than the radar on your phone.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Because I was there on that Sunday race at Memorial Day weekend for the NARC deal, and it was it was literally raining everywhere, but like right at the racetrack, there's just this break, and I don't know what it is, divine intervention or what, but definitely somebody had a plan that they wanted that race to get in.
Yeah, the people travel a long ways to get there to put on, try to get a show in, so I'm happy that one went down.
Yeah. And another really cool thing about where you race at is obviously you've ran there for a good number of years, but you just created a following that whenever Jake, Fred Rennert, he needs no introduction, but I'll tell you who he is anyways, and then, who's from Mason County kind of thing. Just, it's cool to see what, the name that you've made for yourself there.
Well, I think it has a lot to do with the, close to 30 years of going down there. And then, I meet fans that have been there when they were 4, and now they're bringing their kids down and saying, I remember, I mean, it's been that long, and there's just a lot of nice people I've met over time. And it seems like once you get a fan, and you don't do them bad, they're going to be a good fan for a long time.
Yeah, no, that's completely awesome. And there's something that I was going to ask you too. You touched on it. You had a stock car that you raced. Actually, I think you won a championship in the stock car in the early 90s. And what made the decision to transition from stock cars to sprint cars?
If I remember right, it was, the stock cars were getting pretty expensive. They were building some crazy motors, and the opportunity came up with Mike Zavano had a car for sale, and it was ready to go, and he was willing to help me kind of get started, and he was pretty cool about it. Taught me a lot, helped me get going, and it was just like, I guess we're going sprint car racing. And the stock car thing was just it was kind of starting to get kind of crazy with the engines. Not that sprint cars weren't, but
Sure.
it just seemed to make sense. It was just, I guess it was just time to get going.
Yeah, and mid 90s, Fred Brownfield started Northern Sprinter. That, in retrospect, that was a huge deal because that was a major touring series throughout the Pacific Northwest that they went, in those first couple years, not just the Washington and Oregon, they went to Montana, and they also went to Edmonton, Edmonton and Bridge County in oh gosh, the name is, in southern Alberta, just crazy. That was a big opening where so many more teams were coming to these racetracks.
Yeah, and I can think I went all the way to Edmonton, long drive.
Sure.
Maybe night rained out. I can't remember. I might have been there more than once, but worked our way back down to another track that was cool as heck. Was it maybe Lethbridge?
Yeah, Lethbridge. Kelly Miller and Fred Ranner Jr. are going to hang me if I forget where that town is. Yeah, Bridge County Raceway, Bridge County Speedway. Anyways, yeah, Lethbridge, Alberta, right on the border.
Yep, and so then we worked our way to Montana and worked our way home from there, and that was like good car counts, lots of great people, everybody's having a good time. We're a lot more, I guess we call it camaraderie or whatever, but we have a lot of good times then.
Yeah. Well, it's been great catching up with you, Jay. As far as if you have any apparel on sale or anything online, is there a good place where people can look at that team news? Do you have anything like that going on these days?
We just pretty much, got hats and some sweatshirts and stuff, and just mostly just sell them out of the back of the trailer or whatever we happen to have that week. Cindy kind of takes over and we see what people need and what we want. We kind of haven't really went all in with big batches of craziness. We kind of just got 50 of these and 40 of those every once in a while, and
sure,
people buy them up.
Sure. And then I know you mentioned a couple of your sponsors. Any other folks that you want to thank? Any individuals? Any additional sponsors? Well,
I mean, everybody that's on my team's been there for a long time. They're my friends. They give up a lot of their time. Darren Hall and his dad Dale have been a part of my team for many years, and Darren was young, and he's got the hook in his mouth for sprint cars. He keeps coming around and enjoying some of the good times and the bad times. And I got a neighbor that Barry just came on, and he's my neighbor, and he's easy to come over here and help me. And I got Billy St. Paul, who's been involved in my racing since I was 18. So Billy's been in and out and around, and I've been around for a long time, and I've just had a lot of fun with all my friends, basically going racing.
Awesome. Well, it's been great watching you, and can't wait to see what's left in store for the J. Cole Racing story. And hey, I'm just going to put this out there. We'll be checking in with you as the season gets started, especially if you're doing good. and we'll get some progress reports going.
Sounds good to me.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Jay.
You bet. Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to this latest episode of Getting Up to Speed with me, Ben Deatherage. We hope you enjoyed this program. We hope also that you hit the subscribe button and the like button, as that really helps things out, spreads things out. Be sure and share as well on social media so that more people can listen to these great interviews and from these great drivers. Getting Up to Speed is a production of Highside Racing Promotions. For more information, you can check it all out on Facebook at Highside Promotions.